Nick.
Welcome.
Hey, hey.
It's ladies taking over. So you tuned in to Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. But we are taking over. This is Woman to Woman. We promised it. It's here. You have myself, Shy. We have Mary, and we have Charnay Elise. And we're going to be talking about it today, ladies. So as you're watching this video, like, share, comment, invite some ladies in. If you catch the video on replay, comment. And if you need to reach out to us, you're more than welcome to. So we're going to start it off light because we're going to get deep with it. So I'm going to say first, one word at a time, and then let me know what first comes to mind.
Okay.
Love.
Family.
Self.
I have a word, kindness.
Oh.
Sisterhood.
My own sister.
Honesty.
Unity. And then the last one, selfish.
All together now.
1, 2, 3.
Jerk.
Men.
In a good way.
In a good way.
In a very good
In a good way.
I always say men are ignorant
Charnay.
and selfish. They are ignorant. They don't know. They just don't know. That's a whole nother show though.
So
Whole nother show.
right, we here to educate. You know what I'm saying? So
we love you.
But in a nice, loving way.
We love you guys.
Like you forget to give me the last. Like you forget to give me the last piece of fish. It's not because you didn't mean to. It's just because
I wasn't hungry.
You wasn't thinking that I didn't
just
eat.
I would have, saved half, but that's just me.
Right. So I think we already got another show in the making. So a lot has been going on in the world. It's never going to stop. It's just a little bit different this year. 2020 has been like a reality show. It has. And if you watch the reality show, only the strong survive.
Baby.
So if you are still here, that means you are surviving. You may be struggling to thrive, but as long as you have another day, as long as you're given another day, it's always another chance.
That's right.
To do better, to accomplish those goals, to give yourself a pat on the back, to not, beat yourself up so hard. So, matter of fact, give yourself a round of applause. That's what I want us ladies to give ourselves a round of applause. We teachers, we the cafeteria, we the principal, we the mama, we the cook, we got a lot of things going on. So we deserve a round of applause.
Tired and exactly. All, good.
You got it. I just put some moisturizer on my face.
That's it.
So, a lot of things going on. One thing that is dear to me, I don't talk about it a lot, but it is dear to me, is just health, women's health, and how that dynamic affects us can affect us because everyone is different. As individuals, and then how that kind of funnels down to our responsibilities, whether it be spouse, family, kids, work, whatever we're tied to. And so I'll just start off by sharing last year, for the entire year, I was beyond exhausted, like no word, like exhausted. I would come home and literally just pass out, like exhausted. And then I started to get like these dizzy, spells if I moved not even too fast, just your normal up and down. And then we're talking about health, so it may be TMI for some, but it's just real. I started bleeding excessively
Mm.
in more than one area.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what is going on? And so
Don't Google.
it was like once I went to the doctor, I was referred to specialists. I was doing this test. I was getting this check all at once. It just was no time to really wrap your head around anything, procedures. And then ultimately it ended in the surgery and me having a hysterectomy. Now
Mm.
for me, I am 42.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I'm 42. I'm not lying. It's either 41 or 42.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
It's in there.
We
and
believe.
I was done with having kids and everything like that.
Uh-huh.
But the fear of, because by that time, the reality of we don't get treated the best when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to our health.
Mm-hmm.
With medical facilities and doctors and things like that. And, I've had surgeries before, but this time I got a family I want to come back to. This time
Mm-hmm.
I have kids I want to come back to.
Mm-hmm.
So that extra level of I got to make it back.
Of course.
And so
Gave you a fight.
I
Makes you fight.
exactly. So I went through pretty much the whole year. I didn't. I think I told my sisters what was going on, but I could just kind of, I'm a private person by nature, so but it was people close to me, that I told and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But the fact that when I have so many appointments, I'm not joking. Like I'll be at an appointment, I'm like, wait, what is this for? And I'll look at okay, this is for this, and that's for that. And Tuesday when I go here, it's for that. And so just that overwhelming feeling of Jesus, like this is a lot. And so I end up having to, af- um, after the surgery, I also had to have infusion.
Mm.
And basically, it all stems from iron. So as a
Yeah.
little girl, I always had iron issues. It was just told, she anemic. That's it. But as you
Yeah.
get older, it's like that's just not it. It actually funneled into this. They've actually found fibroid. And after the surgery, like literally, I'll say like 2 weeks, because my body was still numb, from all the stuff. But once my body was back to normal, immediately I felt the difference.
Yeah.
Immediately. Um, and so, although it was a lot, we're talking about I started that process in February, and I didn't get my surgery until September. And in between
Mm.
that, going to multiple appointments
Mm.
and, different things that I had to do to prepare myself and get ready and all of
Yes.
that, it can be a lot. So, um, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Your thing may be something totally different, but you're not alone. You're not the only woman that's affected by it. We're women. We tend to, we got to figure everything out. And once something gets, we just keep it pushing. So, Mary, if you can share anything that may be relatable to that you either just want to, encourage the women by or share your personal, journey.
Well, I can share when I got diagnosed for breast cancer. And when I did, when you were talking, it reminded me of what I went through before I got diagnosed. As a woman, we do a whole lot. We work, we take care of kids and everything else. And I was working as a hospice bath nurse. But even before then, I would work 2 jobs. One time I did 3 jobs, and it was a lot of stress that was upon me. And after I did all those 3 jobs, and I finally cut it down to, for instance, this is how long I had average 4 hours of sleep, and I'm not exaggerating, a day. I worked 7 days a week, 2 jobs. I worked 1 job on a Sunday. And I knew I did that because, first of all, I wasn't trusting God. I was putting the trust in myself. So I did all these jobs, did everything until one day my sister got hit and got sick, or one day this guy got sick. And my sister did too, and they were workaholics. It woke me up.
Mm-hmm.
By this time, after all the jobs are gone, just 1 job. And it was still the job that I had was a job was stressful, cleaning the dying. It's stressful on your heart, on your body, and on your mind. I did not know it was that stressful because of the politics too. The main thing was behind the stress was the politics. It wasn't the patients. Lord, no, I love them so much, and I don't want to cry right now. I really miss taking care of the patients. But I would always go and get myself checked once a year because my insurance encouraged you to do it, and they will give you some money back. I figured, hey, I get some of my money back. That's cool. So I decided to go because I need my money. So
It's
I
my
decided
money.
it's my money. You gonna give it back to me? Sure, I'm gonna go get myself checked. And then I'm getting myself checked. I'm doing something for me, and plus I'm getting some money back. So I would go every year. Fifth year I went in. They said, Mary, we need you to come back because we saw something. And because I am a minority, our breasts are more dense. So they had to do another test. And then that test, they didn't see anything. They said we see something, but we can't see through the dense. It's still dense. So they took a biopsy. It came back, and first she says, will you take a biopsy? You got to think about it. I says, no, I don't want to think about it since I'm here. Let's just do this. Now, I already knew in my heart, they were going to diagnose me as breast cancer because I was getting exhausted. Something kept telling me something wasn't right because I began to get exhausted, and sometimes I would want to vomit. I just think, okay, no big deal, it's just acid reflux. So they come in, you're diagnosed. She said, you're going to get the test? I told her, yes, I'll get it. And then he came back and said, we're sorry, Mary. We're going to send you to a specialist. You're diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, I opened the door for this to myself. I overworked. I overworked. So when I said, okay, just want to leave, all I said, I felt kind of numb. And all I want to do was just, I need to go home. I told her, okay. And I remember saying, by his stripes, I am healed. I confessed the scripture. That's what came out my mouth. Got home, ran straight to my closet, and I prayed. And I asked the Lord, what are we going to do? Because the Bible tells me, I remember reading over in Second Chronicles, I think the 17th verse. This is Second Chronicles, the 16th verse. The 16th chapter and the 12th verse about King Ahijah. And the Bible says he stated that he already had been prophesied to, and the prophets had told him, and the Lord had told him, if you don't do what I say do, then all that's going to come up you. If you be obedient to what I say do, you'll be blessed. Things will happen. You'll win the war and all that, whatever. He said, but because if you be disobedient, you're going to answer for your dastardly deed. So what he did, instead of him seeking the Lord, he sought physicians first. And because he didn't do what God said do, and he seek physicians first, he didn't say you couldn't seek a physician. He didn't seek the Lord first for direction. And because of that, the Lord had told him, and he died from the wound. I read that. And then I remember the Bible saying that if I acknowledge him in all my ways, he direct my path. I said, that's it for me. So I got in my closet, told him, what are we going to do? And I got my instructions. I knew I was going to go to the doctor, but I needed to seek him first. I needed wisdom. Go ahead.
And that to me goes back to what I was discussing about social obligations. We feel that we have to work these 3 jobs. We have to do all this to obtain these statuses instead of going from within and understanding that our body, 4 hours of sleep is after a while, God gonna like, I'm gonna give you a sign. You're not gonna like this sign, but I'm gonna give it to you so you can actually know that what you're doing ain't conducive to me or you. And I'm gonna have you go through some things so you can return back to me.
And it caught up with me because I had stopped the jobs. It caught up with me. You know how many years it took? 10. It caught up with me. And my doctor, the first time she saw me, you know what she said? And that's why, too, when we get doctor, we have to remember, when we go to the doctor, you're interviewing them.
Yep.
They're not interviewing you.
Yes.
You talk to them and you find out if they're caring.
Yes.
You ask them questions. Remember, you are doing they're working for you. It's not the other way around.
Yep.
And if you hear something and they seem like they don't care, if your insurance allow it, switch doctor.
I was
Yeah.
before
I
this.
did that.
Sorry, I had told Shy about this book I had read. It's called Radical Remission. I don't know if you guys have checked that out or anything. I've never been diagnosed with cancer, so I can't speak on it firsthand. But reading the book, every patient that was in the book, they said that they made sure they got a second opinion, a third opinion. They didn't just take the first opinion from the doctor because it didn't feel right to them. Something in them said, this doesn't feel right. I'm going to go and seek from somewhere else. And I think someone went to the extent of kind of finding a loophole in their insurance so that they can go to this one particular, I think it was holistic a doctor. But hearing you, Mary, just resonate, like just saying, you interviewing them. It's called a practice.
Yeah.
They're practicing on you.
And that they're practicing it. But it was what was so beautiful about it, though, my doctor, when I met mine, which I didn't know I met her because I was talking to a nurse who was talking to me, and I'm telling them I knew I was going to go through chemotherapy because I already got my instructions from my Heavenly Father first. And I remember him telling me, you're going to be patient. You're going to take it one day at a time. You're not going to say, why me? All these instructions. And he told me, and even when you lose your hair, you will wear it bald. I got all these instructions. I laid on my face. I'm not trying to sound spiritual. This is really what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Because see, I was fighting for my life. And I laid before him in my literally closet, my prayer closet. That's where I go. It can be your car. It can be your room. But my closet is my real closet. It's where I feel like I'm just surrounded with him. And I like going in that room, in that nice place where I have my rug. And I said, Father, what are we going to do? He gave me all these different instructions. No complaining. No why me. I says, what about when I lose my hair? He said, when you lose your hair, you're going to wear it. All these instructions he gave me, and you will go through therapy. And I asked him, Father, will this be a miracle? He says, Mary, what did my word say? I said, your word says, is by your stripes I am healed. He says, well, then you are healed. He said, you're going to walk this one out. You're going to walk it out. You're going to stand on my word. And then he told me something that's not me. You are going to not hide it. You're going to talk about it. You're going to, now I'm not saying everybody do this.
Right.
This is for me. And we got to understand that what may be for me, he might tell you something else different.
Right.
But so everything I am saying, I'm saying for me. I'm not writing out, girl, you got to do this, and you got to do this, because everything,
Right.
when you're diagnosed, is different. They may do a drug on you, they may not be, and they may not even have to go through chemo. So I don't tell people that. He said, you're going to go. And I talked to a girl who said about holistics. And I've seen other people, they wind up doing it, but then they wind up needing medication because sometimes when you take herbs, your body get adapt to it. And it don't do no more. And
I don't want to say don't go that route. Everybody's body is different.
And for somebody, it might work. Somebody, it might work. So I never tell anybody, no.
Exactly.
You find out what works for you. I say, fight for your life. But the main thing that you need to do, and even people don't even love God, do it. When they get hit, they go to God. Well, or when they're not even Christian, they go to God. They start crying out to God. See, but I am a believer. And the Lord told me, this is where you're either going to believe me or you're not. You're going to believe me or you're not. And then I have some people tell me, well, you're a Christian, you don't need insurance. Why you need insurance? Are you in faith? I said, because I'm living in a world. I'm in this world, but I'm not of this world. And I'm dealing with demons and Satan and all these. I have to have protection. But besides that, do you have a car? He said, yeah. Do you have insurance? Yeah. I said, so why are you telling me I'm in health and I don't need insurance, but you got insurance on your car?
It don't work like that.
I said, do you have a home?
Right.
Yeah. Do you have insurance? Yeah. I said, so why then you have insurance on your home? Since you sold great faith, leave the car insurance alone. Leave the house insurance alone. If you're going to say that, you got to say it all. You just can't narrow it in.
And that's why we separate church from government.
No, we have to have a balance here. If you believe insurance is no good for one thing, it's no good for everything. Okay,
you got to show up all
right.
Spade. And besides that, this is my life. But I knew, because the Lord told me to talk about it. He wanted me to speak His word. He wanted me to hear he already knew what I was going to say. He wanted me to fight and he wanted me to share so I could share with other people until I'm. Oh, go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah,
Shop?
that right there, what you just said about you got your instructions, and that's what you needed to do. You needed to be able to tell people. For some
Yeah.
people, it's the aftermath. Like, oh, you went through that? Yeah, this is how I went through it.
Yes.
And I want to correlate that to what you were talking about, Charnay, our social responsibilities and how that keeps us from our purpose and our calling, because someone that has been diagnosed with something will possibly look at that and say, well, I thought I was supposed to do this, but now I'm facing this. So that means I can't do it or it's over. And it's like, no, it's just part of your journey, part of your process.
Part of the
So
journey.
in reference to, exactly. So Charnay, in reference to
Go ahead.
the health portion, relate that to, or if you have, again, your personal experience, if it's not the health part, but just being in contact with someone, or just knowing somebody's journey and being able to speak to them and say, whether it's an illness or just something else that they're battling, how does that still, how do they still accomplish what they need to do, as well as what you have been predestined to do.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the best topic to talk about with health with women is our weight. I know a lot of people, including myself, that you see an image that you want to be, and then you're like, I gotta work out this way, I gotta do this, I gotta eat this particular way, like all these diets and fads. And then if you guys ever have been looped into Herbalife, one thing they talk about is like the nutrition side more so than the eating side of it. And now you're trying to figure out how to eat these, drink these shakes and all this. You're still hungry, like, but at the ending of it, it's all about you. We before we eat, we visually see it. We gotta see it. We eat with our eyes first. And that's what we do with everything. So in order for you to achieve whatever you want to achieve in this lifetime, you have to visually see it out for yourself. And what I mean by that is you have to be right here. You have to be right in your mind first for anything to prosper. And that goes back to the crown, which goes back to God, which you're ultimately, you have to listen to self and God before anything else, before your social obligations to your mom, we always have that saying, you don't pay my bills, you don't, all this type of stuff. So going back to the health of it, it's going back. Okay, so let me look back to myself. What am I eating? What am I doing wrong? I sit on a couch all day and watch TV when I could have took 2 of those hours to walk. I can't run yet. Instead of discouraging myself or looking at that girl that's running outside already, you don't know what she took to get to that 3 miles. So now you're already cutting yourself out because you're looking at someone else. And now you have people that also is like, well, girl, you can't do that. I remember you not did it. Now you're listening to everyone besides yourself instead of, going within and like, okay, I'm at this point first in my health and I need to get to there. Let me tap in here. And also you can seek out help as well. But once you tap into self, you understand people start being attracted to you, giving you what you need. Just like Mary, you didn't know that your doctor, like that doctor was placed there for you, for like that was your doctor. You didn't need to go anywhere else because he placed her there exactly for you. And in that conversation that you had in the closet, he was like, I was waiting for you to show up.
And she heard me talking. She heard me talking to one of the nurses of what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. And I looked over the corner of my eye and I saw this lady standing there. Why does she keep standing there watching me? And her and I were talking. And then when it was time for me to meet her 2 days later, she walked in. I went, oh, she says, hi, Mary, I'm a doctor. And this is what you are going to do. And she started to tell me about what already she had discernment. And she says, the first thing I'm going to tell you is why I believe you got hit. Stress.
You see me.
I looked at her and I said, yeah. She says, but this is what we're going to do. And everything she said to me was what the Lord had told me in my closet.
Reconfirming, she reconfirmed.
So I already knew that,
Yeah.
okay, this is the doctor for me. And as
That
she started talking, there was a lot of confirmation. To me, she gave an interview. She listened to me. She said the right things.
She showed up
here because I really didn't want to go through chemo. I didn't want to. I wanted to just believe, trust God, and not do it. And that would have been my choice. And it would have been nothing wrong with that choice. But my choice, because people would ask me, when you tell people that you're going through chemo, a lot of people are going to tell you, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's not their life.
Right.
I knew. Because it's about 10 or 11, or I think it's 12 side effects, and one is death. But the Lord already had told me. In the scripture, it tells you that you take anything deadly, drink anything, it will not affect you. So I prayed for every medication because the medication is deadly. So that's where I said I had to. This is what the old saying, "With the stuff hit the fan." But the scripture says, but the scripture says, either you're gonna believe or not believe. The Bible says it's impossible to, without faith, it's impossible to please Him. So every area of my life that we live is a faith walk. Like I had to believe I was going a natural faith. I had to believe if I sat in this chair, it's gonna hold me up. But the spiritual, he said he gave every man the measure of faith. And no matter what I went through, it was still him. I give him glory. I give him honor. And I had to keep talking about it to people, no matter what they said. What it did, it made me stronger.
Yeah.
I was worried if I tell people, you know how you worry, you tell people somebody gonna pray the wrong prayer. And like I said, this is for my life. I'm not telling you, everybody else, I'm not telling you to do this. You see God. Seek Him. He just told me to do it. I was concerned if I tell people, Lord, somebody might pray on me. And somebody did pray when they wish I would die. And I found out anyway. But I didn't. So I did not. That's what I didn't want to do that because you're thinking people will pray and speak curses against you. And you know what he told me?
I see her. I'm gonna get her later.
He says, "Is my word true or not? You concerned about their word. You need to be concerned about my word."
We already had a conversation. You know what's
that's
up.
why but he don't tell everybody to tell it. I'm not saying everyone should say. I said ask for Mary. How he walked
and I
me
think
through.
And that's yep. That's
that's important. And it's two things you said. That's what worked for you, as well as when I see people say, okay, somebody pray for me or y'all pray for me, I'm like, first of all,
did you pray for yourself?
Everything. You don't solicit everything from everybody.
I don't want
that's
that.
One.
That's why.
Right. And
I don't know what type of praying you about to do. Okay.
And sometimes he will tell you sometimes don't tell people.
But
as for me, and I found out later on, because I did what he said do, it made me stronger. Yes. I was able to tell him what the word says. It just made me stronger because I tell people it's not, you can't tell it unless God say to tell. When he specifically tell you what to do, you do it. But you can't tell everybody everything. I know that. But as for me, it worked out for me. I was able to witness. I was able to share people about what I was going. As a matter of fact, too, you know what else I did too was very therapeutic for me. I went on Periscope and got a channel. I got a channel because it was therapeutic for me. I wanted to show people what it was like to be in the chemo room. I wanted to show them what it was like to be in the chemo room. So I got a channel on Periscope. It's still there. I haven't been on it in 2 years, but I got the channel and I went on that channel because I was so concerned about other people that might have been diagnosed and they were afraid even going into a chemo room. So I showed the chemo room what it looked like. I told them chemotherapy is just a string of drugs, and I would show them the machine. I showed them everything in that chemo room because this wasn't about me no more.
Mary, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Now that you're in remission, what steps are you taking with your health to make sure? I know stress was one of your key factors. Like, what are you doing to make sure you don't have that cancerous energy back in your body? How are you taking care of you after cancer?
What I call it, I understand they call it remission. I call it cancer overcomer.
Hello, okay.
I never say remission.
But let me
I,
rephrase it. What you
yeah.
doing after your cancer? What was it?
I don't have, when I got diagnosed, I cut down on a lot of stuff. I had stopped at 2 jobs, but what I did my best. Now I'm not saying, because there's certain type of stress you don't know you have in your subconscious, but I did my best to try to, it ain't that serious. And if I found myself getting like, oh no, it's not that serious. Some things I didn't eat anymore as I was going through it. Certain things I didn't eat, and I still do sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, but I start cutting things down. I start being very careful, even of friends coming into my life that bring extra stress. I started weeding people, not saying I want to talk to them, but I didn't socialize like I did anymore. I just started doing things differently. I even started upping my game on my makeup. And my doctor told me, don't wear makeup to chemo. I said, everything you said was fine, but when you touch my makeup, we got a problem. I said, because you see, I don't have no hair. Okay, so I gotta soften all of this up.
I gotta overcompensate a little bit.
Ain't nowhere it tells me that I can't wear makeup. She says, well, it might burn your eyes. I says, we already been through that process for 2 weeks. I don't burn my eyes no more, because I'm not gonna stop doing my makeup. I says, because I don't have hair, so I have to do other things, because I have to soften up the features. I said, so no, we're not going to stop the makeup.
That reminds me.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, because well, you guys know I'm a psych major, and I really preach about what type of stress is good. I do the de-stress and e-stress.
Certain movies I wouldn't watch.
Yes.
I changed what I watched on television. I watch a lot of stuff on the Homeland.
You're mindful. You're mindful now of what's being placed in your body.
What's going into my ears.
Yes, and your subconscious.
Because whatever you see gets in your subconscious.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very careful over what I look at.
Absolutely.
My movies are screened, and sometimes I get on people's nerve.
No, I told you I don't watch TV.
And music,
for a reason.
Certain music I don't listen to, because it'll bring back a memory. So there's certain songs that would make me subconsciously think of something in the past.
Yes.
So there's certain I'm very careful of music that I listen to. What may be good for somebody, I don't tell other people. I don't preach to other people, girl, you can't listen to that.
I can't listen to it.
I don't tell you can do that. When people that get on something, they try to make everybody else do it. No. Everything I say is for what I did. But I do tell people what I went through.
Yes.
It wasn't just for me. It's for who else is going through it. Because my life is not about me anymore. It's about someone else. If I can help someone else, so they won't be afraid when they go in the chemo room. This is what it looks like. Yeah. Just relax. Because when you're going through chemo and you're worrying and you all stressed, the drug can't do its effect.
Absolutely. So they say that's when you reach that point, where you're at, Mary, it's called self-realization. That means you've been through all of it, you've conquered it. Now you want to share it. Yes. And that's like the highest honor for us. Okay. Well, it's said that's the when you want to give your experiences away, you're at your highest, not highest.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I want to.
Yeah, I go
right now. That's what right now.
I want to say
that's what it's all about. Yeah. It's not about me. It's not about.
And that's going to segue to this point, right? Oftentimes we feel as though whatever we're facing in life, that is for us. I think people fail to realize or often forget that you may go through something and you're just a vessel that is being used, but it's for other people. I also often say we all have a group of people that are assigned to us. I can be saying the same thing that y'all are saying, but they're not my people. So it may sound, oh, okay, that's perfect. But then when y'all say it, they get the revelation. It touches them where they need to be touched. Even if it's not a medical thing, a lot of us are still drowning in our trauma. Yes. We don't know how to pick up the pieces. We don't know how to go through the process to heal from that. Once we realize the process is something we can't control, we begin to fear it. We begin to turn away from it. And like Mary said, that's your choice. But what comes with choice is consequences. What comes with choice, there's an outcome.
And you gotta be okay.
So
you gotta be okay with that.
Right. Exactly. So even from we're speaking on health, but it literally does tie into different aspects in our lives, because you can be physically well. You can be physically well in a hot mess mentally, because you don't know how to
let
get
the church
this
say amen.
together. You will for a season.
True.
And then you revert back. So it's all in how it's all in how we receive something. It's all in there's always going to be judgment. That's why I'm so big, and I make it a point majority of time, in most cases all the time, to say that anything my name is tied to is judge free. Because here's the thing. I've been through some stuff in life. Some stuff was just what I had to go through. Some stuff I chose to. You get me? Some stuff I was just born into. But at the end of the day, if I'm saying this is my life, I must take ownership of every aspect of my life. That's my spirit. That's my soul. That's my mental. That's my emotional. That's, that's my health. And so, like the health part, what gets to me, like I feel way better. I've always been a night owl. But so it's like I would stay up to 1, 2 o'clock, sleep, but then still get up early. But I function well at night. I was born at 3:40 something in the morning. So that time, it feels comfortable for me. And then when I wake up in the morning, for me, that's not time for me to work. That's my time to execute, because I've been up working. And so at what point, if you did it in your 20s, you did it in your 30s, you did it in your 40s, now you're in your 50s doing the same thing you did in your 20s, who are you still blaming?
That's right.
Like, who's responsible for it? Because here, when you look at
checking
this
my
screen,
braids.
and this is what I love. When you look at this screen, you have
she's so pretty.
You have 3 different generations. And when you hear us speak, we don't sound like what we've been through, or probably even what we're going through. But that's the difference when you begin to accept accountability, when you accept what is, and you decide to change. It doesn't mean, if Mary wanted to go through her process and have pity upon herself and sit it out and go through it with a bad attitude and say, woe is me, she could have chose to do that. But she wouldn't have this outcome. She would have a different outcome.
That gorgeous
you know
hair,
what I mean?
she would be flossing it.
Right. And then, and for Charnay, if she didn't face various things in her life, wanting to be, just growing up in how we grew up, and then realizing, well, people see me this way, but I'm really not confident, but I want to be what I see. And just going through the steps for that. For me, coming up, Jesus, I didn't know if I was an adult or a kid. Like, what, I feel sometimes back on my childhood, because I was thrown into parentification so early. I'm like, I think I was about, 16. I'm like, girl, you were still living in LA. You left LA when you was 11. You was nowhere near 16. But I always felt older than what I was. And for me, sometimes that was a curse. Like, I wanted to just be a kid. I didn't want no responsibilities. I didn't, And so if we all just sat down and said, because, it was my mama's fault, it was my daddy's fault, it was my environment I grew up in, my teacher didn't tell me, my doctor didn't tell me.
Okay, but you know now. You know now.
Now
so what you gonna do with it?
Right. Can't keep blaming everybody.
Can we get another
Right. So
show
I would
going?
just love I shared this in my mentor class. I said, as much as we want people to get it, I mean, it's Bible, it's life. Everybody ain't here for a positive reason. Everybody ain't here for the same cause. So
That's right.
everything is gonna be fulfilled.
That's
Everybody
right.
ain't going to
That's,
heaven. Everybody ain't going to hell. Like
that's
it's
the truth.
gonna. So as
Okay.
much as we want people to get it, we
Hmm.
have to often sit with and accept. What if they don't?
And so, what you gonna do and move forward? Either
And
way, I'm moving
sometimes, like
forward.
Mary said, you have to release people, you have to
Yes.
change your environment, you have to
Yes.
change your conversation, you have to
Yes.
change, what you're welcoming and what you're giving out. And
Yes.
immature people say, I would say
Yeah.
immature slash ignorant people, because if you
Hmm.
don't know, you don't know. But they say,
Yes.
oh, you're different, you're
Yeah.
changing, oh, you better than me. And my
Thank
response
you.
is always been, yeah, pretty much,
Yeah.
because
Because they're
we
That
supposed
all
to
insecure.
sound
grow.
Yeah.
positive. That sounds all
Because they
positive.
don't have, they're insecure with themselves. So when you say something, when you talk, you don't know it, but they see the insecurity in themselves and they're not comfortable
Right.
with it. So
They're
they have to lash
attacking.
out at you and tell you to be quiet because you're making me feel uncomfortable. So it's not you.
Right.
You're like, no, I
It's
see you. I, I, I see you.
Have you
You
guys
you
ever had
scared.
no have you guys ever had this? I had this she's older than me.
mhm.
And you could tell, it's like she would want to pull on my energy, but then it was
Oh,
like too much for her. Cause then
Hmm.
and so one day we are doing an exercise for work and she came up to me and she said, she ended up being my partner. And the first
mhm.
thing she said when she looked at me, she said, you intimidate me.
Ooh,
And I said, well,
bless her heart.
that's funny because I don't know you on a personal level.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, you know, and I thought back with all of my encounters with her, you
Hmm.
pulled on me. You didn't know how to send emails, you didn't know how to create a list, you didn't know how to work
Hmm.
this. Who were
Hmm.
you pulling on?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
then my energy and
Threaten her.
my being, I'm not even
Hmm.
giving off none, I'm just standing. And that's too much for you.
Radiating.
So we need to stop saying that people intimidate us. And if we like something we see
You
or we
intimidate
feel,
yourself.
There we
You
go.
then we
intimidate
need to,
yourself.
Hey,
instead of saying you
I like
intimidate me,
what
get
you're
to know
doing. Can
that
you
person.
show me? I like what you're
Hmm.
doing. Can you show
Exactly.
me
Just
what you're
ask.
doing?
Just ask.
But
Ask.
but then again, on
Yeah.
the flip side, us women, we be like, well, why you want to know? Like, well, you trying to bite my style? We
And
some of us, not
we can.
all,
Yeah, I hear you. But some women are like that. They don't want to.
they don't want to
Like I
give.
like that's what I told my daughter. I told my daughter, listen. She said one time she was feeling, it wasn't just her, it was another girl too had told me. She says that she was feeling jealous. I says, "You're a Christian?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Did you know that once you accept Christ as your Lord and Savior, you have a new you have you're new inside. Your spirit is new. He gave you the fruit of the spirit, and one of them is not jealousy. What it is your old subconscious, and there's spirits that keep telling you you're still jealous. You're still jealous. The best way to hit that, because there's a spirit of jealousy, you don't accept it. As soon as that thing tells you you're jealous, compliment that person. You keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. It will get easier and easier, and you won't accept the thought of jealousy because it really is a spirit. The Bible tells you it's a spirit. You don't have that nature no more.
Mhm.
So now you have to accept that I'm not like that. And when that thought comes, do the opposite. Tell
Yeah.
that person, don't lie. Don't pretend. You see the person got something in there. If they're within your reach, don't go out your way. They over there and she sat next to you. You know how ladies used to be. She thinks she cute. No, you
I
think she's
am
cute.
cute.
Right.
She thinks you're cute. So you know what you do? You tell her, you know what? You are beautiful. Because she is.
Right.
And
Uh huh.
if you continue to do that, that thing will leave you alone. It may come back every now and then, but you just resist it. So what you do, I told a guy, I said, because it's within your power. You just don't act upon it. And a guy was listening to me. He came and told me one time, I was at the hotel. My husband used to work in, where he still work in Bakersfield. The coronavirus, we ain't going there. And so he heard me talking to a girl, don't accept it. Do the opposite. He says,
Uh
I
huh.
heard you talking the other day. And you know what? That freed me. He said, because I used to look at people when they were doing something good and I would get envious. And I decided I have a choice. I don't have to accept that. And I started admiring them and complimenting them and asking them questions to see if that's what you do.
Yeah.
Don't. She look good because you think she look good, and it's okay if she
Right.
look. You'll be
What's
jealous.
the
You'll be
seven
jealous of,
deadly
girl.
sins?
You'll be jealous of
Oh,
everybody in the universe because there's always somebody gonna look better.
Yeah,
There's
but then
always
again,
somebody gonna do
it's
better.
a spirit telling you that there's something that you're lacking. Doesn't mean that
right.
you can't
That's
achieve
what I was
it.
gonna
It just
say.
means it's just like letting you be aware of what you might want,
And it's okay if
and it's
somebody's
okay.
pretty.
Yeah,
It's
it's
okay if
okay.
Right.
somebody. It's okay. One of my
But what's
friends
not
showed.
okay was you tearing them down because of
That's
something that
right.
you're lacking.
Exactly.
Because
That's where you go wrong
when you
at.
tear them
Mhm.
down, you know what you're doing? You're tearing
You're tearing
yourself down.
yourself down.
Exactly.
Yep,
You're telling on yourself.
And
You're telling on yourself.
you're keeping yourself in that
in a
trap
box. Yep.
and that pit, and you'll never get out. The way to get out is compliment your way out. And
Oh my
tell
God! Thank
don't
you. I
don't
love your
fake
dress. Where'd you
don't
get it?
fake it. Don't fake it. Just say, force yourself. "Oh, she looks nice." And then it'll become easier. It'll become easier. And I'm saying that
And
because back in the day when I was hateful, I used to do that. But I didn't
You,
realize once I came to the Lord had freed me from all that. I needed to accept who I was. I said, I'm going, no. She look good. No, she does look good.
she
And I
does
started,
look good.
you look nice. Well, you can do this. And all of a sudden, I wasn't bothered by that. I'm not saying that little imp don't try to come
right.
back every now and then. I go,
You know what, Mary?
not here.
My
You look good.
family, my family, we compliment each other. So like growing up, I was used to like me like, oh, you look good, oh, you got your hair done. Like I was used to having those compliments. But in the real world, it was
Real
the
world.
opposite. Not the real world, but outside of
I
my
know
family, it
what you
was the
mean. I got you.
opposite. I was like, oh, people don't do this. I thought this was. Oh, I'm like, dang it, am I
No, a
weird?
lot of
Am
them
I
don't.
normal?
A
Like,
lot of them don't.
Right.
They
yeah.
feel
So
a
like
lot of them don't.
my auntie Felicia, she the first one to compliment you. Oh, you got on something nice. And,
Right.
She's free. She's free.
yeah.
And
So,
Yeah.
coming from my
free.
family, that
It
it was
frees
normal,
you. You
but
feel
people
free.
are
I
not taught
think
that.
too. Yeah, and I think too. I remember. So I luckily um I've never experienced jealousy like that. Like I've never, like I don't recall a time looking at somebody like in it really festering in me like, oh, they think they
Oh yeah,
like I don't recall that. Now
yeah.
probably looking at something somebody have, I would think like, dang, if they got it, I can get it too. Like that's how I would look at people. That was for
Like let
some
me
type of way
strategize. I want something.
that
Let
was,
me go
my
strategize.
perspective. Like I looked at it like, oh, if they got it, then that means it's achievable. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
I remember, and this is my grown life, like within the last 5 years, somebody kept mentioning, well, a couple people, um, because something kept coming up. And it was like, well, are they jealous of you? I'm like, no,
Of
because
me?
I'm not that
That's
to
good.
people, like, you know.
That's good. Don't
And so
even
I'm
think
like,
like that.
no,
That's
like, what are
good.
you talking about? And I promise
Yeah.
you, it took me to see it for myself. Somebody
Mm,
was, I mean, just casual conversation. They
mm.
were talking to me like, oh, I'm proud. Not even nothing like to me like deep, just, oh, I'm proud of you. You know, you guys did da 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 da. And I felt the person shrinking. Like I felt
You're
their
like, no,
energy.
I want to hug you. I want to.
And not only did I feel it, somebody else felt it as well. And then they tried to say, oh, well, you too. And that person was like, but I'm talking to her,
Yeah, you can feel
you
it.
know, putting it back
Mhm.
on me.
You can
And
feel it.
so in that moment, I was like, oh, just because I don't think like that,
Yeah.
it made me be mindful of like, check your own backyard,
That's
meaning
right.
even the people that run in your
That's right.
circle.
And you
Uh-huh.
shouldn't.
And
You shouldn't.
so,
And nobody should go
you,
around
I
thinking
like
people
that
jealous of
saying.
them.
Check your own backyard.
you
I'm gonna
know,
use that.
so, you know, and I was just like, wow, that's crazy. But for me, I was ignorant to it because I'm thinking because I don't think like that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I rock with people that don't think
Yeah.
like that. I would encounter that, and I did, and you
Question.
know,
So
so
y'all
uh,
are. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
no, go
My
ahead.
bad. I had a
Go
question.
I
ahead.
was done.
Since you guys are older,
Yeah.
seasoned. I'm gonna say seasoned.
No, you can say older. What I
Older.
am, I'm a
Okay.
bald, black,
Do you,
platinum senior citizen. Go ahead, baby girl.
you keep giving me so many new words today, Mary.
There you go.
You added to my
There
vocabulary.
you go.
Right.
So go ahead.
For you guys, do you when you see a younger woman, does jealousy come to, I'm not talking about when with a man, like that type of jealousy, but actual, like, she's doing something that I wish I did when I was her age and I'm not doing. Like, have you guys experienced people that you too
I
old
don't
to be thinking like that?
I don't feel jealous.
I
Actually,
admire
when
them.
I see a
Oh, I see
young
it. I will tell
lady,
you.
and actually it's funny, I was thinking about this the other day when I was driving.
Uh-huh.
Um, because this is one of those things you take responsibility and accountability for, right?
Uh-huh.
And so when I look at somebody that it's girls that's younger than me that's millionaires, it's girls,
Beautiful. It's
younger than
beautiful.
me that's already, got in their niche and everything. When I look at that, for me, I smile because
Yes.
I always want the next generation to be better.
Do
When I
better.
look at that, I think about my own daughter. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
I like the life she has now. This stuff I used to dream of. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, girl, do you know what you getting dropped off in school in? You know what I'm saying? We
Yes.
used to hide in our car.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when she sees this
Uh-huh.
is her norm. So
Yeah.
she has no choice but to shoot higher. And
Yes.
Yes.
so for me personally, I love when I see that.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I try to implement that with other young ladies I know,
Yeah.
like, oh, you want to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
start at YouTube? Ain't no
Yeah.
age requirement on there. It's little
No,
kid
it's not.
millionaires on there.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
how
Yes.
can I help you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what you want to do? So
Yeah.
for me, no, I don't get jealous. It actually inspires me. If I'm connected to that person in any type of way, I smile like, okay, it's a little drop of me somewhere in there. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because I just feel like I'm not here just for me.
Yes.
And although I have something I want to obtain and achieve, and I know I'm capable of doing that, but at the
Yes.
end of the day, I'm going to obtain and achieve as long as I'm doing the work, whatever I'm destined to achieve, like
Yes.
whatever is for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so the sky above the sky has always been, my limit. Like living in the hood, I'm like, man, I'm about to retire. I ain't about to be working for nobody. I'm gonna be a millionaire. This is like a girl in the hood. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying?
Beautiful.
So I don't know. I don't know if my upbringing was just so much negative that it caused me. I daydreamed a lot. So
Hmm.
there was nobody in my ear saying you can get better. You
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
just thought that.
Yeah.
I
His.
I I, I just knew it had
He
to be.
graced. He graced you for
Yeah.
that. He
Yeah.
graced. For me, I admire. Like, oh, look at you. You guys are younger than me. I admire your knowledge of the computer, how to do websites. I don't know how to do that. That's why I told you. That's beautiful. I admire Shanae. She's intelligent. The way she
Yeah.
speaks. I admire that. When I see young people, I'll stop them when I see someone young and they're doing something that I admire. I ask them, how do you do that? You help me do this? How did you do that? Because
Mhm.
we want our young people to do better. We
Yes.
don't want our young people to do bad. I
Right.
admire it. I don't have a lot of capabilities. I don't have the knowledge of some of the knowledge that you guys have. Even when you told me to get on here, I was like, okay. I asked my niece, she's younger.
Mhm.
I asked my daughter. I have no problems asking because they know. And I admire that. I admire uh, all the things that you were doing. Mary gonna send you a link. I go, oh, a link? Okay. What's a link? You know, to me, that's beautiful. Even when you asked me to come on here, and I knew in my heart it was the right thing to do. And all I thought was, wow, she reminded me of like maybe the Oprah Winfrey show or Let's Talk or The View.
Mhm.
And I said, you know what? This, to me, this is a beautiful opportunity. And you didn't ask why I came on the show. So I'm going to tell you why I came on the show. It's
Mhm.
the right thing to do. At this time, this moment, just because I'm 62, it's not over. It's the
Mhm.
beginning again. And then I have young people like you. If I didn't have a young person like you asking me to come on, I wouldn't be on here.
Mhm.
So we
We all
need young people.
connected.
We
Yeah.
need each other. I need y'all. Y'all can teach me so many things that I don't know. I don't know. Some things I don't know. And I don't have a problem saying some things I don't know. I ask questions. So your questions don't bother me. I think it's beautiful because somebody has to help me. And you young people know more than us older people know about all this stuff. And besides that, I love to see a young person take care of themselves. When I see a young girl walking down the street and looks so nice and neat, it could be tennis shoes, it can be shorts, nothing formal, just looking nice. I tell her, let me tell you, baby girl, you look good. There's one lady on YouTube. She's a young girl and she's overweight, but she is beautiful. She's beautiful. And I tell her, you are beautiful. You are inspiration to me. She's about 25 years old. She has confidence in herself. And I like that. She's 25. Baby. She dresses nice. She plus size and baby girl is bad. She bad. I am subscribed to a lot of young people's channels who have confidence in themselves. I love it. So that is my answer to your question, Shanae.
Well now, said. How about you answer that question from your encounter with older women? So like me, I'm older than you, but I still feel
only by like 2 hours. That's it.
Yeah.
But how has that
bad girl?
I've had
in a good way.
I've always I love really older women, such as 60 and plus. It's I'm not 30 yet. I'm 2 years to 30, so I'm gonna hang on to my 20s for a little bit.
It's okay.
But from like that 30 to 50 age, they don't like me. I'm gonna be really honest. I don't get no love from that age. Really? It's a lot. Yeah, it's hard. But I love my 60 plus because they got really good energy and they done been through all the BS and everything, and they love me. I'm like, come here, because I love you too. I'm like, but I don't love the older, the younger than you. I can't stand. Okay, I don't know. We just don't kick it well.
Yeah, they still working. They still working things.
They still working to do their things, and I'm like, I've been talking to the older people because the older people know, and I want their knowledge.
That's why you're more mature. Yeah,
I want what you look. Y'all done been through everything, so I'm listening. Like I've listened to the old like I was telling y'all, I'm like they was going through some stuff in them songs, and y'all be like singing it with the heart, and I'll be right there too. Sure.
Yeah. No, I can relate to that. Yeah. I can relate to that. I think only thing my experience with the middle generation was different is because of my upbringing and me working in ministry and being over like the youth. I had to interact with their parents. So it would be moments where their parents would, they had to respect me like the adult I was. They would come to me and share, different things and ask questions, sometimes share their personal business because they want me to then talk to their child. So in that arena, I was fine. But now as a grown woman, because I've always loved my seasoned women. I used to tell the young girls, y'all better, why are you with them old women? I'm like, y'all don't understand. I'll be over here having fun. I'll be over here getting knowledge. They be over here dropping I said, y'all better get with them. Because they used to, why are you hanging out with them? That's what I do.
Because
who house you at? I'm at their house.
That's right. Because even when I was growing up, when I was 15 years old, my best friend was 45. And you glean from them, the ones that have sense.
Yeah.
And you will avoid a lot of problems if you find or embrace an older woman who has common sense, and they will help you glean. They will help you through. They can't fix the problem for you, but they can give you advice and tell you, I've been through it, did that, done that. And this is, if you don't do this, this won't happen. Don't do. So you have, it's really wise when you're younger to have an older person. I've always, when I was younger, always had an older person in my life. Matter of fact, when I came to the Lord, the woman was older. People that were older was always able to talk to me because I embraced it, older women. And now I'm older now. I still like older women, and I like younger women too. Because I can learn, and you guys keep me younger and keep me making sure I keep my, my clothes together. And I watch channels on how to do different things, do my makeup. Basically, they really copy off of the old stuff because there's nothing new under the sun. They just make
Right. We
tweak
just
this and
repeat
tweak
it.
that.
Marry
But
me,
a lot of that
you are
stuff we've been
opposite.
doing anyway, you know. But I still like to stay up to date because I plan
Mhm.
on aging gracefully. And I tell my age, I'm 62. I'm proud of being. I went through too much to get to 62. I don't somebody called me old. I don't have a problem with it. I know I'm older. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm proud of the age. I'm proud of the skin I am, and I'm proud of my age. So I don't have a problem with it. So I like old,
Marry me,
middle,
the opposite. 'Cause
older,
I be
whatever
going
age.
early in the morning.
Huh?
I'm like, I need to go to the grocery store at 6. I need to go to run and do my jogging at 6. I need to talk to the older people. I'm like, it's 8, it's 10, it's too many young people around this time.
That's good.
For me, because I need the older wisdom energy.
Yeah, you're gleaming. You're getting nuggets.
Yeah.
And that's good. As long as they got sense.
So
They
You're
be
older
drop
people.
exactly.
some of them. I'm like,
Yeah,
dang.
yeah.
Right.
Some of them, girl,
Stage
Yes.
left.
don't get me started.
Oh, that's
So yeah, this uh again, I love this and just the natural talking. So y'all young girls get with an older woman. Y'all older women get with a younger girl. I
Mhm.
will say this. I not generalizing, but I realize maybe unless you get to know me personally, that
Mhm.
at this age, women that don't know me, the older, they
You
not
can say
messing with me.
you can say older.
It's like it's like the mid 50s and below that rock with me now. But when I was younger,
Mhm.
I can say, and maybe they was
Mhm.
just intrigued trying to see what I was doing.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I love just to be able to have these conversations, these dynamics. I will say this for a young woman that's like, you don't need that. Um, Actually, it was two women that I connected with immediately. At I think I was 15, 16. And one is my godmother, and the other I call her my aunt. And if it had not been for those women, because if you know my story, I didn't have the greatest relationship with my mom. And if
Mhm.
it was not for those women giving me those, asking me them questions, giving me
Yeah.
advice,
Yeah.
um, when I'm broken down and can't even think, and I can go, to their house and talk to them, and they're, just listening to me and giving me that auntie love, that motherly love. So it's many reasons why it's important. But that wisdom, you ain't gonna get that from another person your age. You're not. I don't care. You're not gonna get it. So try it
Because they,
out.
because they
I've been
haven't been
doing it
through
for years.
because they haven't been through it.
Yeah,
That
and I love it. I
and they
wouldn't
can
change
teach you
it.
and they can teach you
Mhm.
what not to do. So
Right.
when you experience something,
You're
either
gonna go through it. You
yeah,
just
you're gonna go through. One thing you can't stop nobody from going through. I mean, I tell people, if you thinking you're gonna this life is a panacea, and there ain't gonna be always roses, and I'm not gonna go through nothing, that's a lie. Cause a pit of hell. It's not what you go through, it's
it's
how
how you go
you
through
How
it.
go
you go through it.
through it.
And it's to get through it and not get stuck. And now before we wrap this up,
Okay.
just some quick advice. It could be, however direct you want to be, but just some quick advice to the women out there. And we'll go ahead and start with Mary and then swing to Charnay, and then I'll wrap it up at the end.
Do whatever you can. I know people hear it all the time, but it's true. Try to love yourself. Because if you can't love yourself, people tell you you can't love nobody else. It is true. Because you'll project hatred. If you don't love you, how can you relate to other people? Because you
Right.
have self-hatred. So whatever you can do, get it Psalms 119, where it tells you about yourself near the end of the scripture. It tells you how much you are beautiful and wonderfully made. And then it has the nerve to tell you, and you know it. I go, what? What? He'll tell you, and says, well, yeah, I do then. He'll tell you how you were crafted, and he molds you in seclusion, and he made you, and he structured you. Because he said, then he go north and say, and you were beautifully made. So why you hating yourself? That's all I got to say.
I'm gonna have to
Go,
put my
Charlotte.
hand for you.
Talk to me, sister. Talk to me.
Right. What I say is, we are on a collateral. Lateral. So everything is, there's no wrong or no right in our
Come
life.
on, baby.
It's just the experiences that we experience. You can
Yeah.
name it as good and bad, but those experiences make you who you are. It helps you to find your purpose in life. It helps you to just be everything that you are. Going back to what Mary's saying with self, you have an inner voice that either we ignore, that intuition that we always talking about as women, we have it, and then we just act like it ain't there. And then when things hit the ceiling, we're like, what happened? You're like, you know what happened.
Yeah. That's true.
You don't listen. That's why. So really just being true to who you are, and knowing that your mistakes, your proudest moments, your not so proudest moments, that has nothing to do with anything besides you growing from the experiences, taking them and keep going. Not taking them and go backwards. We never want to go backwards unless you're in the wrong lane. You got to go back, scoop, and keep going.
Now, girl.
The main
preach
purpose
baby.
is to always keep going, no matter where you are in life.
That's
and
right.
Laugh.
That's right.
And be happy and find that spurt of it. If you're not happy, that means it's your brain, your heart, everything is telling you need to tune in. You need to find it, and we need to keep going.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let the church say, and let the church say,
amen. I want to say, deal with your stuff.
Yes.
Deal with your stuff.
Yes.
Before your stuff deals with you. Ooh. Another way to say it, be proactive instead of reactive.
Yes.
I see a lot on social media. People are reacting to circumstances and life happening instead of being proactive about it. Because if you come to me and you tell me something is bad, something went wrong, after you tell me the story, I am going to say, and what was your part in it? And what did you do? So I really want us to learn how to own our stuff. Release our mamas, our daddies, the person that molested us, the teacher that told us we were stupid, the family you don't know, whatever your it is. Release that so that you can own your stuff and stop letting it own you and you reacting to it.
That's right.
So it's just time to own our stuff.
That's right.
It's time to own our stuff.
That's right.
So this was Woman to Woman.
And I'm going to have to say again, and let the church say,
amen.
Amen. You know what? I'm going to have to get an offering plate for y'all too, okay? I need to be past the offering plate.
That's why we have Cash App and Venmo and all that great stuff.
It was beautiful. That was beautiful, ladies.
This is Woman to Woman. Thank you for tuning in. There will be another part to this, and we're just going to keep the dialogue going. If you want to get all the updates as to what's going on, you can go to my website, Sharia Wright, SHYRIAWRIGHT.com, and subscribe there. And that way you can find out what's going on monthly, weekly, whatever it is. Follow us on our Facebook. If you find me, you'll find Mary, and vice versa. And Charnay as well. And again, tag a friend, tell a friend. And we hope that you heard, our hearts. We hope we made you laugh, made you think, inspired you, unlocked some things for you. But at the end of the day, I've said it, and I'm going to keep on saying it.
Amen.
I'm going to keep on saying it. We need y'all, and y'all need us. We need each other. So I'm all about bridging that gap for the ultimate goal of us being able to show up as who we were purposed to be. So you'll be seeing us soon. And we thank y'all for tuning in.
I had fun.